After having the most amazing few weeks travelling along South Coast New South Wales and exploring Sydney, the last week we've been hit with bad weather. And finally, after waiting out the heavy clouds and the rain, it seems like tomorrow we're going to get a sunny day. So tomorrow we're going to squish in as much as possible and have the perfect day in the Blue Mountains before the rain comes back.
So we've made it to the Blue Mountains today and we're staying at a campground called Mount York Campground. But it's a lookout and some walkways and hikes and whatever, but also a campground. And for sunset, we decided that we're going to come out to this lookout. I think it's the Eddie Stone Lookout.
Eddie's Rock.
Eddie's Rock. Same thing, Stone Rock.
No.
What do you mean, no? For sunset.
Wait, hang on. I'm trying not to stack it right now.
For sunset, before we explore Blue Mountains tomorrow. But it gives us a little peek into what it looks like in the surrounding area.
Yeah. Why are you walking like that?
What do you mean?
You look like a goblin.
Already, just look at this. It's so beautiful. I love how there's a lawnmower in the background. You guys probably won't hear that.
I feel like the noises from the town below are like radiating up. I don't know how to explain it.
It's
It's
amplified.
so loud. That's it. Amplified, not
it's
radiate.
So loud. Yeah, it's just so beautiful. Even though it's like, people living here, you can still see the natural beauty that is here. And look at the rocks here. Like, I feel like the face of this rock here is like what I see primarily in the Blue Mountains. I know we might be in the Blue Mountains, I'm not sure. But, it's so cool. And also, just look at the sunset. The last couple of nights, even though it's been raining, we've had really pink and purpley and bluish, very vibrant sunsets.
So we're hoping for the same tonight.
I don't think we're gonna get it tonight.
Yeah.
But it's still really majestic in its own way.
So as you guys can see, there is still a lot of cloud tonight, but today was a cloudy day with a little bit of rain, and then tomorrow should be partly sunny, partly cloudy. We have had a week of like 20 mils of rain plus thunderstorms every single day. You can barely see anything around us because it's been so cloudy.
Yeah, and unfortunately tomorrow's weather is the best it'll be for like what we can see in the foreseeable forecast.
Yeah, for at least a week plus. So we've been watching the Instagram tag for Katoomba and the Blue Mountains, and people have been posting photos where they're at the main lookouts and they can't see a single thing. So I feel like we've been waiting out for like a solid week, 2 weeks. I don't feel like we can wait out anymore. Like, as much as it's like a wonder, it comes to a point where you're like, you gotta do it. Take the best you can and just do it. So fingers crossed. I'm so excited. I feel like we've heard so much about the Blue Mountains and we're pumped. We're here for the first of many hikes today. We are doing the Grand Canyon Trail. We've already had rain this morning. Yeah, and it's been super, super cold. But you might be thinking, this doesn't look like the Grand Canyon car park. We're starting it from a different car park. Yeah, we're starting it from Neats Glen car park. There's three different car parks you can start it at. Apparently this way is nicer, or I've seen online that it's less steep coming back up and then you end on the really cool lookout. So let's do this, and fingers crossed, no more rain. And hopefully it warms up pretty quickly. I told Sugar gliders to start filming all the way back there because I saw the sign. I love sugar gliders. I really want to see one before the end of the lap. I'm sure we can make that happen. If you know hot spots to see sugar gliders, maybe here at night. I'm really hoping everything we saw online about it being easier to start from Neats Glen is true, because it feels like we've gone down like 1,000 steps. We just keep going down. I feel like the further down we get, the lusher and greener it is getting, right? A caterpillar? No, where? It's like little ones that like, I've lost it now. I'm scared. I'm afraid. Oh dear. Turns out it's a leech. Oh, don't. I'm gonna do a leech check now. It's so cool. It's almost as if we're walking through like the opening of multiple caves, like the little overhang bit.
because it's all around us. We're walking right through the canyon. How cool is that? On today's episode of What is Lydia Looking At?
It looks like shaved carrot, right? Like shredded carrot.
Imagine if it's just a possum, like took some carrots and is eating it, yeah?
Nah, it's definitely not. Doesn't it
Yeah,
look
it must
like
be like a fungus or something.
It literally just... Are you okay?
It's not very
Don't
even.
move, don't walk, stay there. But look at this, it literally looks like I'm just entering the jungle. Like, look how green and lush it is.
I would definitely recommend some decent hiking boots if you're going to do this.
Yeah, some bits have been pretty wet and muddy as well. And
Yeah.
the steps are like really small.
Ew. You having fun? I like these little steps. Don't roast me for this, but I never watched any of like the... What do you call it? You know the one with Nick... Yes, it's the one!
I don't know if I've watched it, but...
I haven't watched it either, so don't be mad. But it kind of like gives me that vibes, like ancient, whatever, foresty.
When I was reading the reviews, everyone's saying it's like coming into like dinosaur age.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it feels like there should be dinosaurs here, and I kind of get it.
Yeah. Kind of does feel like it.
It's so lush and green, and then these steps are like, I don't know. Cool.
It kind of feels mean saying that this reminds us of Tasmania because this is its own unique, special area. But I mean, Tasmania is kind of the benchmark for untouched natural beauty. So it really reminds me of Tasmania. It feels like we're back in Tassie. I genuinely don't understand how we're still able to go down even more. This is crazy. And it's not like it's like a couple meters left to go. Look at this. Keeps just going and going and going.
We've hit another Montezuma Falls situation. But this time we have to go through the cave for our track.
Who knew that there was a cave here?
I had no idea.
I don't know how I feel about it. At least in Tassie, bats didn't have lysovirus, so...
Oh, don't be scared of the bats. I'm scared of the wetness, leeches, bugs.
Yeah, spiders,
You go first, men
snakes,
first.
Lizards.
You wanna use my phone as a torch? People?
Okay, we just have to...
Is it wet?
Yes,
How wet?
very wet.
Okay, just be careful though, because if it's wet, it's muddy and slippy. Thank you.
It smells like fart. What? Do you not get that? It's such a fart. Did you fart?
Yes! Keep going.
Did you actually fart?
Yes! You want me to acknowledge it?
This is the worst place to laugh.
Every shot I've ever seen of this hike is of people standing behind a waterfall, and we've reached it. And funnily enough, I thought it was going to be like a thing at the side that people go out to, but it is actually part of the track.
Waterfall? Ah. No.
Put your hand in it.
I'll get the camera wet.
Actually, I'll hold it. Go put your hand in it. Dip it in the deep bit. You don't think it's that cold?
It's like normal, like water, river, foresty water.
I guess.
It's not really that cold. It's pretty insane to think that this has been going on for so long, because you can see how it's eroded away, actually where it's like predominantly dripping. Like you can see the little potholes. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
So the Grand Canyon is one of the only canyons that you can enter without canyoning or caving or abseiling. And it's pretty cool. We've just come to a point here where they have the anchor points where you can see that's like one of the ways that they enter into the deeper part of the canyon. But I don't think I would call that canyoning. Look at that.
It looks scary.
It looks like it's like going into a cave that's literally just disappears. It's just a black hole.
It's like creepy cave territory.
Yeah.
Not quite like canyoning.
It's like one of the things that Lydia and I can't like deal with at all is like seeing people doing the cave.
Where it's like the size of their body.
And they have to, like squeeze up.
And they're crawling through the little holes.
No thank you.
That's freaky. But this one's kind of creepy too. Look at this.
Yeah, that kind of looks a bit scary.
Here you go. Abseilers only beyond this point, where the anchor points are to get into the cave.
It's actually pretty crazy how deep it is. It almost feels like it's like a different world. Like it's like an upside down world that you're just gonna go into. And like, and what makes it even weirder is there's like different layers of obviously rock, and then there's like dirt and ferns or whatever. But I can't even see the bottom, and there's probably about 4 or 5 more of these like different layers that jolt out. Crikey, mate. I'm actually surprised at the amount of spiderwebs that we see on like a day-to-day basis, but we haven't come across a huntsman or any other big spiders, only like really tiny little ones.
Please don't jinx it. Please don't jinx it.
Well, I mean, it's bound to happen, right? Like heading into like Queensland, right?
Oh dear. Yeah, I think so. Ever since we entered Vic, I've been like waiting for a huntsman to be in our van somewhere.
But luckily, not yet. The whole walk has been like this, right? It's just surrounded by beautiful things, and you have to watch where you're stepping the whole time. Pretty cool though. Not gonna lie, I kind of had my reservations with the Blue Mountains, and I thought that it would just be like mountain ranges that look very similar everywhere you go, but I am wrong. I'm gonna admit that I'm wrong, because this is absolutely breathtaking. Maybe some of the most beautiful scenery we've seen.
We made it to the lookout, Evans Lookout, and as you can probably tell by how gross my hair is, the way up was a bit of a killer.
There was probably 1,000 steps plus.
It was just all steps, so it was rough, but I definitely feel like starting from Neats Glen is the way to go, because it was really steep in a lot of steps, but not nearly as bad as how steep it was when we started.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad we did that. But we've come up and we're looking up and you can't see anything. As we were coming up the steps and the trees were clearing, it was just completely misty. And look at this from the lookout.
It's completely misty, cloudy.
Yeah.
I can't put I don't know which one it is, because it's kind of seems like it was raining a little bit, but now it doesn't. But
it's like
we're
a
not
combo
right
of mist and then these like really heavy clouds above us. And as we were near the end, someone was starting the track, and they said that the visitor center said to do the Grand Canyon track because they wouldn't be able to see anything else today.
Yeah. So I mean, fingers crossed it does pass. It's kind of good because we can see the mountains here, so I'm imagining that it will be very much the same at all the other sections.
The good bit is like the heavy cloud is actually quite high. It's like here, and then below it is just kind of misty. So fingers crossed we can still see everything today, but it adds like a really cool vibe to it. But now we gotta, I think it's flat to the car park where we parked at.
I think it's about 1 kilometer.
And that's the last stretch, so. All right, so we're here at our next stop. I almost flew the door up. Did you see that? I was like, whoop. So, oh dear, that was chaos. So we are here at our next stop, which is Govets Leap Lookout. If we're lucky, because it looks very cloudy out in front of us, we should have spectacular views over the valley and of Govets Leap waterfall.
So much for the weatherman being correct.
I know, he promised the sun.
Yeah, right? I feel like they're never correct.
No.
Like even when they're like, 5 mils of rain, it will end up being like 15 mils, and then they're like 25 mils of rain, and then it ends up being 5. Like, how is it so inconsistent? I wonder, like, I've been starting thinking about like our future travels.
Oh dear.
And like when we're driving past visitor centers, I'm like, Is that like an Australian thing, or is that like international?
Does
as well?
everywhere have visitor
Does
centres?
everywhere have visitor centres? And what about weather predictions? Like, are they more accurate in different countries? Surely, right?
Okay, let's see. I have not a lot of faith for this. So the whole valley is covered in this mist, but I feel like thankfully the heaviest clouds are like just above the cliffs and like far off that way. So we still get a really cool perspective of the waterfall. Now the waterfall is actually commonly referred to as Bridal Veil Falls, but it was originally named Govet's Leap. So fun fact there, and it's a 180 meter drop.
99% sure this is the tallest waterfall that we've seen.
What was Montezuma?
I think like 128 or something.
Yeah,
108.
must have been.
This is like 200 meters. This is definitely
180.
Yeah.
You're
rounding up.
Rounding up 20 meters. That's a
Yeah,
bit
that's like 10%. That's
It's
nothing.
so beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely has to be the tallest one that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It like, yeah.
All right, we're getting rained on, so we
Yeah.
gotta go. So we're here at Orphan Rock Lookout. You can probably see it somewhere behind me. And I thought we should probably explain why the Blue Mountains are called the Blue Mountains. So it's actually because they have this blue haze kind of radiating off the mountains. And that's because majority of the trees out here are actually eucalyptus, and eucalyptus releases the eucalyptus oil, and that mixed with the water vapor and the dust particles, when the sun is on it, it refracts and radiates this blue haze. Is that right, Bian?
Close enough.
Close enough.
It must have been one of the like earliest sites of like a eucalyptus forest from a good vantage point, because I feel like we've seen it in like a lot of Australia where like there's an abundance of eucalyptus trees in a forest because they're pretty dominant. And they always give off this blue haze, but I never knew what it was until we actually looked into the Blue Mountains and why it's called the Blue Mountains. So,
side note,
pretty
we heard a
interesting.
tour guide saying to his group, by the way, it's like the Apostles, it is very busy
it's so
here.
busy here.
But he said that on Orphan Rock Lookout, you actually used to be able to climb it. And that's why you can see like rails on it still. You used to be able to climb it, and then they shut it down when it was unsafe.
Yeah.
So
When it was unsafe, it was probably always unsafe. They just couldn't be bothered getting up to standards or something.
So we are heading to what is probably the Blue Mountains' most iconic, most photographed attraction, and super excited to finally see it in person. But we've come down to like this little private lookout to explain, because you've probably noticed in a few of our shots that there's a cable car that has been passing in our view. Now this cable car is part of Scenic World, which is a business with all of these different attractions. So one is the cable car that runs across. They also have what I believe is the steepest railway that goes down to the floor here and then back up. And apparently it's really cool. So we did actually debate booking it because we thought the railway looked so cool. But it is actually $54 per person. And all of these sites that we've gone to and the view that the cable car gets, we can still get, but by just hiking to. So we decided not to, especially because we're limited to just one day. Apparently the queues to get on the cable car and to go on the train are really quite long. So we thought, you know what? We've got one day, we're just gonna hike to all of these amazing spots.
This is like a really good reminder of how vast like space is and like land is in Australia. This takes up so much land and it doesn't end.
Actually looking at it reminds us how small we are. We've had a few moments like that with the Nullarbor and the Tasman Peninsula in Tasmania. We've had these moments and this feels like one of them. You look out on like the vastness of the mountains and you're like, damn, we are so little.
I mean, even like there's a lookout right there. And the people are like the size of ants. Definitely a contrast to what we did this morning. It's very well
established.
Well established.
Oh, I did not expect the Cascades to be this pretty. What?
I didn't actually expect there to be anything in between here and
What? We saw the sign for the Cascades.
Yeah, but I thought it would just be like a little...
I thought it'd be a little drizzle.
Like, you know, like typical cascades?
Yeah.
So it's just like a river flowing.
This is like its own full waterfall. What?
Cool. Want to go for a swim?
Oh, I wish. Go in our underwear. Oh, ew. So we're not at the main lookout yet, but we're at this side lookout that gives us a really cool view of the Blue Mountains' most iconic attraction, which is the Three Sisters. Now, this is a really important spot in Aboriginal history, and Aboriginal Dreamtime legends say that the Three Sisters were Meenie, Wimla and Gunadu, and these three sisters fell in love with three brothers from another tribe. Now, that's against tribal law, and the brothers went, "We don't care about tribal law," and decided to go and capture the sisters, and this started an all-out tribal battle. Now, the witch doctor in the sisters tribe thought, "I'm going to turn the girls into stone so that they are protected during this battle and so they don't get hurt." And the witch doctor actually died in battle, so it's believed that the sisters now look over the Blue Mountains for the rest of eternity. And it's really nice to be able to get this like almost private view of them and be able to talk about it here, because we can see the main lookout off in the distance and it looks packed. And we can even hear the people from here. So I'm sure it's going to be really, really busy. So we ended up seeing an echidna on the path, and I can't get over how dark that echidna was.
Yeah.
Compared to the caramel coloured echidna
how
we saw
spiky
in
they
Tassie.
are. They're so fluffy in Tasmania.
Yeah. Apparently we can get really close to the first sister, so that's what we're doing now. Apparently it's really, really, really steep stairs to get there, but it's only 80 metres, so.
Unfortunately, the little bridge to the Three Sisters is closed, but at least we got to see it up and close.
And the climb down, would you call it a climb? The climb down wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, no.
It was really short.
It doesn't help having big feet.
Yeah, the steps are really small, but the actual walk down is like really short.
Yeah.
I still feel like our knees are going to hate us after today.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm starting to feel it now at the end of the day.
We're going to have to have a couple of days recovery.
I feel like we need like a spa or a bath or something.
Yeah.
Just to sit in the bath the whole day.
We should get like a foot bath for the van.
I don't think a foot bath is what I need. I thought like a full body, like Epsom salt soak or something.
Yeah. Also, how crazy does the like, I don't even know what to call it, look.
The what?
Like the mist, it's like diffused, the light, and...
It's like everything looks like it has like a slight fog over it.
Yeah, the sun is really intense today when it is out.
Yeah.
I don't know what I prefer, being overcast or... Before we forget, we did call the city council and they called the ranger to confirm, but the parking at the Oval across from the Katoomba Falls kiosk is free parking, and the rest of the Blue Mountains is paid parking. And this parking can be quite pricey. I think, what is a day pass? Like
$38.
$38 for a day pass and parking, which is a little pricey. So, I mean, it was good for us to walk. You can see the bag, sweat marks. We're both very exhausted. I feel like we've walked like half a marathon today, but it's been absolutely breathtaking.
It's been incredible. And that's it. I feel like we've crammed in so much, but there is so much more you can do in the Blue Mountains. We'll see you in the next one.
Whatever we're getting up to.
Bye.